Alibaba Qwen 3 just got a fantastic update. So this is the new Qwen 3 235 billion A22 billion 2507 model. Now this has been released on Hugging Face. This is an instruct model and it doesn't have hybrid thinking mode. So what they are saying is that they'll be training instruct and thinking models separately. So this model has better quality. That is what they are saying over here. And this model is actually taken the crown from Kimi K2 on a lot of benchmarks. So this new updated Qwen 3 model beats Kimi K2 on most benchmarks. The jump on the ARC AGI score is equally impressive. So if you see the benchmarks over here, this model, the latest release of Qwen 3 235 billion A22B2507, is much better than Kimi K2 on almost all benchmarks. On the ARC AGI benchmark, you have this huge 41.8% score over here. Now, what does this mean? This particular new update takes the benchmark crown from Kimi 2. What are some of the highlights of this particular model? So this model is 4.25x smaller overall when you compare to Kimi K2. Kimi K2 is 1 trillion. This is 235 billion parameters in total. But this has more layers, transformer blocks. It has 1.5x fewer active parameters. So this has 22 billion active parameters. Kimi K2 has 32 billion. This has much fewer experts in mixture of experts layer, 128 versus 384. Also experts are slightly smaller. It doesn't use a shared expert, but otherwise also has 8 active experts. Alternates between dense and mixture of experts in every other layer. Grouped query attention instead of multi-head latent attention. So you can actually try this particular model Qwen 3 on Alibaba's Qwen chat, which is what I did. This model is also released in Hugging Face. So if you have enough RAM, probably you can do a local installation of this particular model. Okay, but it still requires huge infrastructure, right? Because the total number of parameters are 235 billion. It has a context length of close to 262k tokens. And this model only supports only non-thinking mode. So it doesn't generate think block in its output. So this is a non-thinking model, an instruct fine-tuned model basically. Significant improvements in general capabilities including instruction following, logical reasoning, text comprehension, mathematics, science, coding, and tool usage. Okay. So what they're saying is markedly better alignment with user preferences in subjective and open-ended tasks. So we can try out this model on Qwen chat, which is what I'm going to do. So the first thing which I tried was to create a road rash like game over here. This particular thing required me 3 attempts. Okay, the prompt is create me a road rash like game using Three.js and it should run in Chrome browser. The very first 2 attempt, it gave me some code, but it was not able to run. I was not able to run it. Okay, the second time I got an error for some modules are Three.js modules are not loading. And the third time it gave me this code, which when I run, I kind of get this game. Okay, a road rash like game over here. So if you see over here, it is quite good in the sense that there is a score, and whenever this bike or something hits other bike, you see the health goes down. So this is quite decent, but it took me nearly 3 attempts to get to this level. Basically 3 times I had to prompt it, and every time there was an error, and the third attempt I got it running. So, this is decent, that's what I would say. Okay, so then I tried another Python programming problem. So from LeetCode. So basically this is a regular expression problem. So you need to write Python code for given an input string S and a pattern P, implement regular expression matching with support for dot and star, where dot matches any single character, star matches 0 or more of the preceding element. So you have to check, given an input string, you have to check whether the pattern P matches this, right? That's the idea. So if your input string is AA and if your pattern is A, this is false because this regular expression doesn't match the string. If it is A star, it matches over here because star means 0 or more of the preceding element. So it matches over here. So I gave this particular problem with various constraints like this, right? The string contains only English letters, P contains only lowercase English letters, and dot and star this thing, it is guaranteed for each appearance of the character star, there will be a valid previous character to match. So given this constraints, it actually generated a matching function over here using dynamic programming. It creates a matching function. So time complexity of this is O m into n, where m and n are lengths of the string and pattern. So space complexity is m into n for the dynamic programming table. So it created this code, and when I ran that code over here, right, with various patterns like this. For example, if your input is AA and pattern is A, the output is false. If it is ACA, input string A star C dot star, it is actually true. So it works properly over here. So it was able to generate this code properly. Okay, so these were some two programming problems which I tried. The next one which I tried was something about, let me check this. So this was about, understanding of the physical world basically. So I said, we have a book, 9 eggs, a laptop, a bottle, and a nail. Please tell me how to stack each item on top of each other individually in a stable manner. So just to inform you, you can click on this QuenChat, okay? And once QuenChat opens up, you can select this particular model, Qwen3 235A22B2507, which is the latest model, and then you can put your queries. And I created an account over here as well. So this is about physical world, where understanding of physical world. So this is physically impossible to stack a book, 9 eggs, laptop, a bottle, and a nail on top of each other individually. Okay, so there is a lot of word gymnastics which happens over here. It tries to say, I need to do this, but then 9 eggs are treated as a single unit or group. So this cannot be done. We need to be creative, but then if I were to group the eggs, then it kind of beats the constraints, because my first layer can be a book, my second layer can be laptop, third layer can be a bottle, and on top of that I want to layer these 9 eggs, so I cannot do it. But it keeps going around again and again and trying out something like realistically how to form a stable stack, right? And once in between it will say that it is impossible to stack this item individually in a stable manner with all items used in a single tower because X cannot support weight. Actually, this is the answer which I was expecting, right? Nail as negligible base. So it does all these things, and finally it generates a conclusion over here. If you see, it says final answer. It generates a conclusion over here. The only way to interpret this as a riddle or logic puzzle rather than pure physics is stack them in an order where each item is stable and nothing breaks. It goes back and forth, generates a lot of stuff before finally it gives a verdict that, final answer. If you see over here, final verdict, creative solution, 9x cannot be included in a stack without destruction. Correct. Best possible answer, it is not possible to stack items in a stable thing. Therefore, the honest answer is you cannot stack these items. So it kind of repeats the same thing again and again and finally gives you the answer like this. You cannot stack them in a stable manner due to fragility of which is the expected answer. But if it is a riddle, then you can stack them mentally or one at a time, not all together, which is not the case over here. So you should say that it's not possible literally. So conclusion is stable stacking of all items is not feasible. It is exactly right answer over here. It is just that it did a lot of word gymnastics before coming to this conclusion over here. Okay. So compared to the previous model, I find this, for the same question, I find a lot of going back and forth over here before it comes to this solution, right? Then I had the other question just to know how self-aware or whatever this model is. So I said, can you tell me more about Qwen3 235B, A222B, 2507, which is the model. This thing, it says there might be some confusion. The Qwen series does not have a model named this. This is simple system prompt kind of thing. So if they have a system prompt where they put in this information, it will actually answer it. In Anthropic Claude or other things, I've seen system prompt where they put information about their latest model release. Here it's not there. So it's not able to, tell that. And it says Qwen3 series are typically named in a more standardized format, Qwen3 1B, Qwen3 7B, which is really nice. This is a really big name over here. Qwen3 235B, A22B, 2507, right? So I said, who are you? It says I'm Qwen3, and then it goes to talk about, whatever are the features of Qwen3 over here, right? Another thing which I tried was a simple mathematical problem where it's just, I said Sue works in a factory every 30 minutes. A machine she oversees produce 30 cans of soda. So basically this machine is able to produce, a can of soda every minute. So how many cans of soda can X machine produce in 8 hours? If you know the answer to the above question is 960, what is the value of unknown variable X? So how many machines are there basically? So it is able to calculate that. It says determine how many cans can machine produce in 1 hour, since 30 minutes is equal to, and every 30 minutes makes 30 cans. So in an hour it produces 60 cans per hour. Cans produced by one machine in 8 hours is 60 into 8 is 480. Since we know that we have produced 960 cans, so 480 into x is equal to 960. It calculates and gives the correct answer finally. Okay. Now, if I go to the Hugging Face page where they explain more about this, the benchmark scores and other things. So here, they say that this model even performs better than Claude Opus 4 non-thinking, basically better than the other models like DeepSeek, Kimi K2 or GPT-4o over here. But some people are saying that, look, this model is just fine-tuned on benchmarks. They're kind of gaming benchmarks to just show higher performance. So if you go to the community over here, there are people talking about, just admit you train on benchmark data sets. Right? Some people say that, yeah, we have tried this model, but then it's not given that kind of a performance as expected, or say when you compare it to the benchmark scores. So it is something which you need to try on your data to check how it works. Okay, so you can go and try out Qwen models on Qwen Chat. I think probably you also have an API to try out this particular model. It has got an Apache 2.0 license. If you have the infrastructure, you can also do a local deployment, right? So this was a short video about Qwen 3's latest update, which they claim beats Kimi K2 in a lot of benchmarks. Kimi K2 is also a non-thinking model. This is also a non-thinking model, but it is at 1/4 the size of Kimi K2. So, and Kimi K2 was just released 10 days ago. So yeah, within 10 days you now have a newer model which kind of takes the benchmark crown. Now, taking benchmark crown versus how it performs on your prompts, how it performs on your tasks is something which you can test and see, and decide on whether you want to use Qwen 3 or Kimi K2 for your task. Hope this video is useful. See you in another video.